Hey there, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another video. Sort of a just random review of 3,000 Miles to Graceland. Why did I start with this? Well, it was near the beginning of the collection because of the number. When I did my collection videos, one of them is Kurt Russell. Had not seen this film in a while. I was actually thinking of doing a commentary because I had not seen this film in a couple years. I figured maybe it'd be fun to do a commentary on a film that, hey, I don't remember too much about it. But then it's a 2 hour and 5 minute movie, and really I just sat there going, I don't know what the fuck to say about this. I don't have much to say about that scene. And I'm kind of just sitting there going, why the fuck is there a scorpion? Oh, what? And then didn't know what else to say. So just a video review. Now, this is directed by Damien Lichtenstein. Don't know who the hell that is. He did some low budget movie before this, and after this did like a web series, and he did one film called Venus in Vegas with Eddie K. Thomas and Donald Faison. Didn't do much before or after this. He directed this film. He was one of the writers. He was one of the producers. So definitely his movie. And I had seen this once a long time ago, probably when it came on video, and then about 3 years ago got this DVD because I wanted to give another shot. Just come on, it's Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner. You also have Christian Slater, Kevin Pollak, John Lovitz, David Arquette, Howie Long, Ice-T, Courteney Cox. An insane cast. And the initial concept is fun. The two guys who played Wyatt Earp, of course, Kurt Russell in Tombstone and Kevin Costner in Wyatt Earp, facing off against each other. The Wyatt Earps facing off against each other. And there's an Elvis convention. Of course, he was in an Elvis movie when he was a kid, and he played Elvis in Elvis the movie, directed by John Carpenter. And there's a heist in this Elvis convention. And the trailer makes it seem as if that's where it's going to lead up to for the big finale, or maybe like the good second half of the film will be this Elvis convention heist of this casino. And that's not really the case. It's more the beginning of the film, like the first third of the film. And that's really the best part of the movie, I guess. Because after that, it kind of squanders and meanders and doesn't really know if it wants to be like a comedy or an action film. It's trying to do both, and the cast is not the problem. Like Kevin Costner, he's pretty decent as the bad guy who he thinks he's the son of Elvis, or at least that's what he wants to believe. And then the movie's like, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. But that's part of the reason why he's hardcore into Elvis. Kurt Russell as our lead. Big fan of Kurt Russell. I don't mind Christian Slater, David Arquette. Kevin Pollak is one of the cops going after these guys. Ice-T and Howie Long, they pop up in the third act and the last action scene, who help out Kevin Costner against the cops. And I don't want to spoil the movie. In case you're wondering, right off the bat, I am going to spoil the shit out of this film. The cast is not the problem. Some of the firefights, at least it's R-rated, and there's some decent like blood squibs, and it doesn't pussyfoot around too much with the R rating. But honestly, in retrospect, this should have been the big finale, this casino heist with this Elvis convention. Just from the trailer to the covers to the plot to even the inside of the DVD, the marketing, that seemed like the peculiar, interesting, intriguing part of the movie, and you just blew your load in the first third of the film. And then the next two thirds are kind of meh and lame and eh. And it starts off weird too. One of the things I did remember with this is this what the fuck opening with these two CGI scorpions that seem straight out of like a CGI Transformers cartoon, or like the Battle Bots or Reboot, the cartoon Reboot. These two CGI metal looking CG scorpions fighting each other as if it's a Michael Bay movie. And there's like a white one and a black one, and the black one kills the white one and does like a victory sign, yay! And almost gets squashed, but doesn't quite, because then Courteney Cox's kid picks it up, puts it in a jar. I'm like, what the fuck is this opening about? What is there some kind of symbolism that I'm not getting? Courteney Cox, don't really give a shit about her character. I don't mind her as an actress. Didn't give a shit about her character or the kid who played her son, because they meet up with Kurt Russell. In 10 minutes, there's this sex scene in a weird position, because like Courteney Cox is kind of sitting on him while he's laying down, but she's sitting, but then her legs are out, like touching his shoulders, but she's kind of riding him, but not. And then her kid comes in, sees her mom fucking Kurt Russell, steals his wallet, takes his money, and you find out the mom's into that as well. They cheat people out of their money. I never bought later on when Kurt Russell and Courteney Cox get together. I don't buy their romance. I don't buy it at all. And then Kurt Russell meets up with Kevin Costner, and then they meet up with Bokeem Woodbine, Christian Slater, David Arquette. You have the heist in Vegas and the Elvis convention. I guess I would say the most interesting part of the movie, but then it doesn't last as long as the movie makes it seem. They get out of there. Kevin Costner is a little bit the psycho of the group. People get killed. They get the money. Kevin Costner starts killing off everybody. So, yeah, if you're going into this for Christian Slater or Bokeem Woodbine or David Arquette, they're not in the film that much. So I thought it was sort of a waste of their talent. And yes, I don't mind David Arquette. I've liked him in films like the Scream movies. You know, Christian Slater is a talented actor, from Gleaming the Cube and Heathers and Cuffs, among others. Just sort of just a waste of their talent. Then it's pretty much Kurt Russell. His car gets stolen at one point. Him chasing after Courteney Cox. Kevin Costner chasing after them. Again, I don't buy the relationship between Kurt Russell and Courteney Cox. Kevin Costner sees John Lovitz, shoots a bow and arrow at him. And then you get to like a third act where then this big warehouse type of thing. Kurt Russell's your lead, but this big action scene happens and he's not there. Like, this is your lead of the film. He's not in the last big action set piece of the movie, because he gets shot. You think he's dead, but he's not really dead because he has a bulletproof vest. So he disappears for the big chunk. It's just Howie Long and Ice-T who pop out for the third act. Kevin Costner just called them to help him out. Ice-T, he's there. I don't know if he has more than 3 lines of dialogue. There's a bit where he's upside down twirling guns and the cops shoot him. They shoot Howie Long. Kevin Costner has a last stand and gets shot to shit. And then Kurt Russell goes with Courteney Cox and the boy, and they have the money, and they head out, and then the movie's over. I definitely disagree with Richard Roeper. I mean, considering some of the films he trashed, A Rockin' Good Time, I disagree with that. I mean, yeah, some nice songs. I did it my way. But again, the cast is not the problem. Some bits of the soundtrack are not that bad. There's some decent bits of shoot 'em up action. But the characters aren't that interesting, except maybe Kevin Costner. Like, Kurt Russell's character, there's not really any, like, Kurt Russell's good acting wise, but his character, even if you're a fan of the film, what can you really say about his character? Like, anything about his character. There's not really much for me to like about the character he plays. There's not much for me to give a shit about his romance with Courteney Cox. That's definitely the weakest part of the movie to me, is the romance between him and Courteney Cox. I don't know, the script just didn't gel with the two of them, and I don't know, maybe they just didn't have chemistry with each other. And again, the most interesting part of the film is what the big marketing, the trailers hone in on. But you make that the first third of the film, and then you get rid of good actors like Christian Slater, you get rid of at least colorful actors like David Arquette, and then the rest of the script just like, okay, just meander around, and okay, we'll go over here where Kevin Costner deals with John Lovitz. We'll go over here, Kurt Russell's mess around with Courteney Cox. And then the shootout in the finale where, again, your lead is not even part of the action. So it's sort of like a disconnect where you're following your lead character. He's not even part of the... I don't know how to describe it. Just a weird thing for an action movie. At the end of the day, this is an action film. Now, it says on IMDb in the trivia section that apparently these two guys had different cuts of the film. Like, Kurt Russell had power to edit the film, and his cut was more comedy and more with him and Courteney Cox. And then Kevin Costner had an edit, and his was more action. I'm like, well, what the fuck was Damien Lichtenstein? Did he not have a say? If that IMDb trivia is true, like, did he not have the say in the matter? So I thought that was weird. But I guess Warner Brothers is like, hey. Of course, there's fucking 5 producers. So, sure, there was a bit of meddling. Who knows, maybe the director, maybe this is not how he saw the film. Maybe he was fucked around with. Maybe it was rewritten. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't know the story. There's not much making of about this. Even on this DVD, it's just a trailer. Which I thought... I'll admit, this is one of those trailers that I think is better than the movie. But of course, yeah, that great song, Viva Las Vegas, by, I think it's the version by ZZ Top. Like Elvis vocals, but ZZ Top did it. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this movie. Again, it cost like $62 million and made like 18 million in the US, so this was a big box office bomb. And I can understand why. I can easily understand why. They're a good cast, they're wasted in at best, a mediocre action movie. I mean, I'm not going to say this is one of the worst action movies ever or the worst Kurt Russell film. Hell, I would watch this over Executive Decision because at least, Kevin Costner, he's trying to have a little bit of fun with his character. Kind of interesting to see him play a villain, which later see him in Mr. Brooks. That's a good movie. Again, I see some of these familiar faces. I forget the guy who was with Kevin Pollak, the other cop. I think it's the guy. I think it's Thomas Hayden Church. I think that's his name. The guy who plays Sandman in Spider-Man 3. I think that's him. Could be wrong on that. But yeah, don't know what else to say other than I guess you'd call this a bit of a rant. I mean, it's not one of the worst films of Kevin Costner or Kurt Russell. I'd rather watch this in Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner. I'd rather watch this in Executive Decision with Kurt Russell. But it's a very flawed movie, in my opinion, and it could have been a lot better. And overall, uh, at the very least, a letdown of a movie. And there's a reason why not many people talk about 3,000 Miles to Graceland on either of these guys' filmography. Hell, even the title is about the Elvis thing, and I know I repeat myself, but again, the whole thing with the Elvis convention, that should have been what it worked up to and make it like a big second half of the movie or a good chunk of the third act be about that. Not just this boring warehouse location and Ice-T and Howie Long, who wasn't even in the first 2/3 of the movie. Like, hell, why couldn't that be Christian Slater and David Arquette? Like, why couldn't, like, just have these other actors just pop out of nowhere in the third act? See, that's what I mean, just a lot of problems with the script and the romance subplot between Kurt and Courteney Cox. But anyway, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.